No more arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This quote was written by Marcus Aurelius thousands of years ago. And when you look at it at first glance, it seems pretty basic, pretty simple, pretty obvious. Now, when I was writing the video, I looked at a lot of quotes by Seneca, by Epictetus, by Socrates, a lot of philosophers, and a lot of them are absolutely fantastic quotes. But I always kept coming back to this one. Now, the power of this quote to me lies in its simplicity, and with such few words talks directly to what is true. Now, when you, me, or anyone nowadays faces a challenge, the first instinct, the natural instinct, is to avoid it, is to seek more comfort, to put it back to a future time, but not now. And unfortunately, nowadays, we have very efficient ways of avoiding. Not only very efficient ways, but almost infinite ones. You can open your phone, you have 1,000,001 apps. Within those apps, there's infinite content you can scroll through. There's video games, there's infinite things you can do. And a lot of times you can indulge in these for almost weeks on end, months on end, delaying what you should be doing. Regardless of that, eventually you will have to deal with the problems. Now, you can choose to do it on your time or on quote unquote life's time, but you will eventually have to deal with them. And the funny part is that when confronted, and if you're to really sit down and really feel and listen to yourself, you always know what you should do. You always know what the right course of action is with the information you have at the moment. The problem is that often that right decision is a hard decision. Is a decision that emotionally doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel pleasant. It feels much more pleasant to get your phone and scroll TikTok for 15 minutes and say that, yeah, after 15 minutes, I'll do it. But then you push 30 more minutes back. Then you push to the next day, then to the next week, and then you don't do it. Because no matter how much we trick ourselves with all this noise, with all these excuses, with all this bullshit, deep down, we always know. Now, the big problem, as we're talking about, is that following this voice is very uncomfortable. At times. The more important it is a decision and action, the tougher it's going to be. But it's natural that it is that way. It is supposed to be that way. Now, the biggest problem is that, as we're talking about, it's very hard to listen to this voice and harder even to follow what it tells us. Because above all, this voice, this correct course of action demands sacrifice, usually of comfort. It requires you to put off how you feel in the moment so that you can feel better in the future. And that's very hard to do. Now, the critical point and the most important about this video is that no matter how hard it is to follow this voice, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how much we may hate the process and the grind of it and the whole process about it, no matter how much we hate it, the more we follow this voice in the correct course of action, the better our lives become. Maybe not the next day, the next week, not right away, but eventually if we keep doing these things, if we keep sacrificing comfort for progress, comfort for the good things in life, the truly good things. I'm not talking just about, having fancy cars and a nice house. Those are vanities. But about the real good things, to be a disciplined person, to be focused so that you can be proud of yourself, of your achievements, of getting in shape, maybe building a business you're proud of. The money side as well, all of these things, they require you to sacrifice the present moment for the future. Because it may not be comfortable, we may hate it, all of this bullshit. But if we follow through, it's not only best for ourselves, but for everyone around us. And that is exactly why this quote is so powerful. Because at any moment that we're struggling internally, that we're debating, should I do, should I not do, you can always tell yourself, no more arguing what a good man should be. Be one. After that, you'll immediately know what to do, what the right course of action is, what you should truly be doing for the best of yourself, for the best of people around you, and overall for the best of your life. Now, you may not want to do it, fair enough, it may be too tough, too uncomfortable, but at least you'll exactly know what you should do. Now, I know that's often not going to be enough, because even if the decision or the action is simple, sometimes we're just not going to be capable of doing so. So something that can help you, especially if you want to journal on it or just ask yourself as well in that moment, is what would the perfect man, this good man, do in my situation? And then if you cannot act like that, ask yourself, why can I not act in that way? What prevents me? Is it how I feel? Is it something restricting me? Am I afraid? What is exactly that prevents me from acting in this way? And don't be ashamed of it. If you're afraid, it's fine to be afraid. If you feel a bit of shame, it's fine to feel these things, because rejecting them and avoiding them is not gonna, all of a sudden make you not fearful and not ashamed. It's not going to work. So be honest with yourself. What prevents you? And then ask yourself, after you have that answer, what can I do to overcome this? What can I do to get closer to that good man, to that perfect ideal I'm after? And then take that step. Take the step that you can. Maybe you can't, maybe you're too afraid, for example, to go to the gym right away. You're too embarrassed. Fair enough. Go do some push-ups in your bedroom. You can do that. Do some sit-ups. Like anyone can do that. Anyone. And who says that, maybe you want to start your business. I can't do that. Maybe there's a lot of excuses, a lot of things. Fair enough. But maybe you can go and create an Instagram page where you start sharing some things related to what the business would be. You can do something. You can always do something. And you may ask me now, but will that really matter if I do some push-ups in my bedroom, if I just start posting some things? Well, in practice, it's not going to matter too much in the practical sense. You're not going to look like a bodybuilder doing push-ups in your bedroom. But it's going to truly matter because it's going to get you started. It is the first step in progressing you through the whole journey. Because if you never take the first step, you can never get to the point where you're taking the 100,000th step. So don't undermine the importance of small actions. Because by themselves, they may not matter, but when put in the global context or the entire context of your journey, they might be the most important step you ever take. With all that said, with all this talk, all that we went through, no more arguing what a good man should be. Be one.